Hello. Um, yeah, I've been watching the news and the coronavirus is just getting worse and worse and worse. I mean, people are on lockdown right now. People are staying home and staying away from others by going to big social gatherings or be around a lot of people at a place. Yeah, they're just staying home. Yeah, they're just staying home to avoid spreading the virus to others and washing their hands. And and I'm doing the same as well. Yeah, I did a video at a park in Overton, Texas. And the memory on this smartphone that I was doing the video on ran out of memory, so I have to do it on another tablet, which I'm doing on right now. I'm doing this video on a HP Slade 7 tablet. Um, has a lot of memory on it. Has a lot of memory on it, so this video is probably going to be long, but just depends on like how long I'm going to talk. Yeah. So anyway, so anyway, I've well, I noticed while I was at that park in Overton, some police officer, no, not a police officer, someone in a black car was circling around where I was at. I was sitting at a picnic table and walking around, and they kept circling around, circling around, circling around, and circling around. Then okay, then okay, they call okay, then I yeah, then after that person, that black car kept stopped circling around like a bunch of times. A white police car showed up, then drove around and left. Then I think before I left, someone in a black Dodge Charger drove drove where my car was parked at, and just parked in the middle, not in the middle, but parked, didn't park in the parking spaces where my car was parked at, just parked in the parking lot near this abandoned community center. And when I got ready to get in my car and leave, this police well yeah, it was an undercover cop. I'm going into this. The black car drove up and it revealed to be a police officer. This police officer asked me this: "Are you okay? Um, I was seeing you and you were acting strange, and you were acting strange. I was just wondering if you were okay." And I said, "I'm all right." And he said, "Okay." Then he drove and parked on the side of the road. He didn't leave where I was at. He just drove and parked on the side of the road in front of this abandoned community center. And before I left, I was thinking about moving overseas and having dual citizenship with America and another country in Europe of my choosing. And I chose France. And I noticed that I'm going to have good quality access to everything. Good paying jobs. I'll get paid really good, depending on if I work part time or full time. And then you have government run nanny services for women who just had a baby. And the nannies will come by and clean up their houses, cook their foods, and do their laundry. And there's universal child care. And they have a really good universal healthcare system, which is way better than the healthcare here. And I thought about this and I said, yeah, I like this country. Now I've been to France, by the way. It's a very beautiful country. Went to La Hère, France, and in the northeastern part of the country, France, and I liked it. So after I thought about it, and I said, well, yeah, I'll get dual citizenship. I'll be a citizen of the United States and France. And I think, or for me to do that, I'm going to have to get a visa. I had to get a visa, a permanent or a temporary visa if I want to like live in the country and become a citizen. Okay, before I left, okay, when I got ready to leave, that police officer in that black Dodge Charger, which is an undercover cop in an undercover car, followed me. So I decided to play around with him. I said to myself, okay, jackass, let's go. And I drove around in circles. I drove around in circles, and I drove around in a place over and over and over again. And he followed me. He just followed me. And he did his police training to back away from me when I drove to a place that he just backed off and just drove the other way. He's relying on his police training because I might be a threat. I might come at him with a gun, but I didn't have anything of the kind. So yeah, did that. Now I decided to leave, and he followed me out of the park, and he followed me until I completely left the city, and he turned off somewhere because he can't follow me out of the city, out of his jurisdiction, which is Overton, Texas, because if he does, he'll be out of his jurisdiction. So yeah, and this was from the white guy who kept driving around in a black Chevrolet. It was basically racism and racial profiling from the police officer, and racism from the white guy in the black car, in the black Chevrolet. So I'm never gonna go to that park ever again. So yeah. Okay, also I've been hearing from a lot of people in America saying that America is the greatest country in the world, and we're free and we have freedom, and other countries don't have freedom. And even though we're held down, this is one of the best countries in the world, and we all hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. Well, I'm going to read some things that are going to debunk all of that. And here it is. I have it written on paper. And here's a list of problems in America. The lowest life expectancy. Highest rate of homicide. High rates of teenage births. High rates of obesity. A very large prison population. Low levels of child well-being. Low levels of social mobility. A broken, dysfunctional, bureaucratic healthcare system. Racial profiling, law enforcement practice from police. The reality of Donald Trump, the Republicans, and establishment moderate corporate centrist Democrats represent the interest of big businesses and corporations, a broken education system, and the military-industrial complex. And there's more about America. This is a story that caught my eye online, and it's about Ariana Grande and an obsessed fan who's obsessed with her. And the title of this is Ariana Grande seeks restraining order against fan behind alleged trespassing. It starts out as Ariana Grande is seeking a temporary restraining order against a man who was arrested for allegedly trespassing on her property, E! News can confirm. The 26-year-old
pop star filed the legal documents in Los Angeles on Friday. According to TMZ, who was the first to report the news, Ayoranda's mother, Joan Grande, is also seeking court-ordered protection. On the afternoon of Saturday, March the 14th, 20-year-old Fidel Herensuede was taken into police custody and booked on misdemeanor trespassing and felony battery. TMZ cited law enforcement sources that claim he knocked on the door of Ayoranda's LA home and asked for her. A property manager represent at the time reportedly told Herensuede she was not home and the cops were called. A spokesperson with the LAPD, or Los Angeles Police Department, tells E! News that as he was detained, Herensuede became irate and spat at the officers. Ayoranda has not yet addressed the incident publicly, instead using her massive platform to call attention to the need of social distracting aimed the coronavirus outbreak. Ayoranda Grande seeks restraining order against obsessed fan. Ayoranda Grande has filed for a restraining order to keep an obsessed fan away from her. The side-to-side singer filed legal documents on Friday seeking temporary protection from a man in his 20s who was arrested outside her Los Angeles home on Saturday, according to the editors at TMZ. He managed to sneak past the star's security detail and made his way to Ayoranda's front door and asked the star's property manager if he could speak to the Grammy-winning singer. The man is reported to have been holding a love letter for the 26-year-old as well as directions to her home. Police officers subsequently arrived on the scene and he was taken into custody and booked for misdemeanor trespassing and felony battery for allegedly spitting at the arresting officers. TMZ sources claim Ayoranda's mother is also seeking court-ordered protection from the man. Okay, I got more of this. It's on my phone. Okay. And it says, the singer was also caught in a sweltering hoax earlier this month when police had to investigate a report of gunshots fired at her home. The Seven Rings hitmaker has yet to comment on the report, but she did take to social media to urge her fans to stay home and practice self-isolation aimed at the coronavirus outbreak. I keep hearing from a surprising amount of people statements like, this is a big deal / we'll be fine / we still have to go about our lives. And it's really blowing my mind. She wrote in a series of posts on her Instagram stories, I understand if that is how you feel weeks ago, but please read about what's going on. Don't turn a blind eye. It is incredibly dangerous and selfish to take this situation that lightly. And yeah, that's true. I mean,
this coronavirus outbreak is nothing to take lightly, and you got to take this very, very seriously. And I'm taking this seriously, but I'm not being frightened and paranoid about it. I just gotta just do this, just wash my hands and just stay away from being around a lot of people and stay home. So that's all I have. That's all I have to do, and other people are doing this as well. You know, this coronavirus is not gonna go on forever at all. It's eventually gonna die off soon, and everything's gonna return back to normal. But I'm gonna touch on what I just read about Ariana Grande and her obsessed fan. Okay, and let's see, I can find his name. Okay. Okay, the guy is Fidel Herensquid. The guy that's been obsessed with Ariana Grande. He came to her house, knocked on the door, and asked to see her by the property manager around the property of her Los Angeles home, and he had a love letter that he was gonna plan on reading to her. Ariana Grande is a busy woman, and she doesn't have time to hear some normal everyday Joe Blow's love for her and his love letter to her. Yeah, I find the obsession to be very creepy, and it is. I'm not gonna bash Fidel Herensquid. He's just a brain dead drooling pinhead who's just a big fan of Ariana Grande and her music, and he likes her because I guess she's beautiful and cute, and yeah, I agree she is. But he gotta realize that she's busy. I mean, he can't get to her because she has bodyguards and around her. I mean, there's no way he's gonna get to her at all. I mean, the bodyguard gonna tell him to back off because she doesn't want to be bothered. But yeah, and I'm gonna say this, about this, a lot of people like Fidel Herensquid in America are just so brain dead, and they're clueless. They don't have a clue, and I'm gonna say this. Fidel Herensquid. I'm gonna say this. This guy needs to wake up from his dream world, zombified, brain dead, mindset. He needs to get out of that and realize that women in America are no good, and they're not. I just heard about here in Texas, the state that I live in, the Texas Department of Public Safety is gonna list incels, men who are single, lonely men who can't get a girlfriend, who are turned down by these women who just like Elliot Rogers, who just morph into a mass shooter by grabbing a gun and going on a mass shooting because they're angry and mad at the world because they can't get a date aka a girlfriend, and they grab a gun and they shoot, and they shoot and kill people, and they get shot and killed by police. And guys like Fidel Herensquid, they need to stop. They don't need to do all of that. They don't need to stalk and have an obsession with a untalented, worthless singer who makes trashy music that sucks. What they need to do, they need to just go overseas and find a woman, because You go to countries like Eastern Europe, like Ukraine or Russia and Latvia and other countries that are pro-male. I mean, the women will be pouring at these guys. I mean, women be all over them. And they don't even in their obsession. Well, Fidel Horensque's obsession with Ariana Grande will disappear because women would be all over him, and Ariana Grande don't to worry about guys like Fidel Horensque being obsessed with her and stalking her, and people in America, and especially women, don't have to worry about getting shot and killed by a mass shooter, because a lot of lives will be saved, and and a lot of lives won't be tarnished. So yeah, and I'm looking at women like Ariana Grande. Ariana Grande was the same singer who was at Aretha Franklin's funeral, and she accused a 60-year-old man who was a pastor of groping her. And the guy just put his arm around her, and she was all scared of him at first, like he's gonna do something to him, And the guy was a pastor. He was showing love. He's a very religious guy. He was showing love and just showing love and kindness to Ariana Grande, and he spoke some nice things, and he talked about he heard her name on the list, and he thought her last name was something that was a Mexican dish at Taco Bell. It was kind of funny, and after that, Ariana Grande forgave the guy, and she turned around and complained that he was groping her. Then nutcase fans online said that the pastor was groping her, and the pastor got attacked by these nutcases, and saw the fact that the pastor said that her name Grande sounded like something like a Mexican dish at Taco Bell. And they went and said that Ariana Grande is of Italian descent. She's Italian. And yeah, she is Italian, and I found that out from this. And the pastor, I feel sorry for the guy. I mean, the guy wasn't trying to wasn't groping her. Like, I saw the video. He just had his arm around her. That's it. That's all I saw. And Ariana Grande was paranoid because, she was in a church, and she was all paranoid and jumpy and all because she's around a bunch of yes men. Say yes to everything, like, oh, they're all bad, like, ridiculous. I mean, and she wasn't dressed formal and proper at Aretha Franklin's funeral. She was dressed up scantily and provocative, Basically, she was dressed up like a hooker. Yeah, and I'm saying to myself, like, you're Italian. I mean, probably Catholic. I mean, you should dress femininely, I mean, yeah, dress proper. Dress respectedly for someone's funeral. And yeah, and doing the pastor having his arm around Ariana Grande. Her boyfriend jumped up and so-called run to the rescue. Her idiot boyfriend, really. Guy sounds like an idiot for what he did, like a total straight up clown. Yeah, women like Ariana Grande here in America are just a bunch of toxic, unfriendly, paranoid, picky, mean-spirited, unfriendly women and girls, who just don't give like men like Elliot Rodgers the time of the day. They like bad boys and assholes. assholes and bad boys are the same, actually. Yeah. And going back to the Texas Department of Public Safety labeling guys like Elliot Rogers as incels, as they're doing an incel rebellion to go on mass shootings, like looking at them as a threat, and they're a bunch of clowns for putting this out and having a mindset on this. Guys like Fidel Horensquade and Elliot Rogers and George Soudini and Nicholas Cruz, men in America who are incels, who go through true forced loneliness. This is what they need to do. They need to leave America and go overseas and go to these countries in Europe that I talked about. Places in Europe that I talked about. Women. Women will be all over them in Eastern Europe and Ukraine and Russia. I mean, the women will be all over them. I mean, they go to a restaurant in Russia or in the they go to a restaurant in Russia and they can't sit down. They'll look up and you'll see some cute girls and attractive women, cute girls and attractive girls will be telling them to come over and sit with them. I mean, doesn't matter if they are a restaurant or a McDonald's or anywhere in Russia. I mean, the women will be all over them. I mean, they can't sit in peace. They can't be alone because women will be coming up to them. Women will tell them to come here. I mean, it'll be crazy. I mean, they'll feel like alpha males overseas. I mean, these incels, these lonely, sad, angry, depressed men, these men of true forced loneliness. Yeah, I mean, these guys need to go overseas, and Fidel Horensquade, if he gets out of prison, he needs to go overseas. He needs to do the same as well. And I hope he stumbles across this video, and I hope he does. Yeah. Let's see what else I want to talk about. See what else I want to talk about here. Crap. Hold on a second, folks. Okay. And, I saw some true things online. Excuse me. I saw some true things online, and they were on some comment sections on a YouTube video, about British doctors on the American attack on the NHS, the National Health Service in the United Kingdom, the Universal Healthcare System. And this is the comment that I got. I've written it down on paper. Here it is. If I was British, my response will be, goodbye Tories, hello Corbyn's Labour. Jeremy Corbyn, the Labour leader in the UK, in the British Parliament in Westminster in London, England. Jeremy Corbyn, he's the Labour leader. He's no longer active in the Parliament. I don't know. Also, if I was an American, my response would be, goodbye corporate politicians, hello Bernie Sanders. And I've written this down over this. This is from me. I've written on paper. If I was in France, in Europe, my response will be, goodbye toxic, unfriendly, workaholic, right-wing, reactionary, workaholic society
and Hello Paradise. And all the unhappy, lonely, depressed misfits, incels in America, lonely men who will go on mass shootings, be violent, and go crazy, need to say that if they were overseas. And that is true. That is really, really true. I found this thing about the NHS, and it's really old, and it was started. The NHS, which is the National Health Service in the United Kingdom, was started in 1948. It's over 70 years old. It's a good system, but it's facing challenges. Has a lack of hospital staff, meaning that it has a lack of doctors, a lack of nurses, hospital beds, and hospital equipment. And the system is underfunded. Boris Johnson, the United Kingdom Prime Minister, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, went to an NHS-controlled hospital, and the nurse, and I saw this on a YouTube video, the nurse went up to him and said this, the healthcare system is underfunded, and you're not doing anything about it. What are you gonna do something about this? I mean, we got long wait times. I mean, we're lacking hospital equipment, hospital beds, hospital staff, doctors, nurses. We're lacking that. You need to put more funding into the system. And Boris Johnson didn't care. He just went there for a photo op, and that's it. The National Health Service in the United Kingdom is a good healthcare system. It's way better than America's, and I found this little tidbit online. Got this off of Wikipedia that tells the story about the National Health Service, or the NHS. And this is for people who experienced the new system back in 1948. And it states this, and this is the title: The New National Health Service. And it starts off as, your new National Health Service begins on the 5th of July. What is it? How do you get it? It will provide you with all medical, dental, and nursing care. Everyone, rich or poor, man, woman, or child, can use it or any part of it. There are no charges except for a few special items. There are no insurance qualifications, but it is not a charity. You are all paying for it, mainly as taxpayers, and it will relieve your money worries in time of illness. And after that, the United Kingdom in 1948 got the NHS. They got universal health care. At the same time, America is suffering through a broken, dysfunctional healthcare system that has a lot of people who are uninsured. More and more people die every year because they don't have access to health care. People can't afford their medication and die. People are going bankrupt over medical bills, premium co-pays and deductibles, and lose their homes over these medical bills. So there's a very cruel, barbaric, evil system. In this system, I heard someone read about it was this, like, if a woman has a baby, she has to pay $40 to hold her own child on skin-on-skin contact, to do skin-on-skin contact. Pay $40 to hold her own child. What? and before she has and giving birth to her, she had to pay even more, like $100 or even more. Like, and that's just so heartless. Like, really, like, and they don't have that problem in the United Kingdom, because the health care is free of use and paid for through public taxation, because the healthcare, the National Health Service, or the NHS in the United Kingdom, is funded by taxpayers. They're paying taxes for it. Like I said before, it's free of use and paid for through taxation. And yeah, the taxes are kind of high, but it works, and you got wait times. Yeah, the waiting times are not that great. They're long, but they need improvements. If you wait, if you get in a car accident, if you get hurt over there, you're not gonna be put on a waiting list. You're gonna be seen immediately. You're gonna be taken to the hospital. You're gonna be seen immediately. But if it's a simple health checkup, you're gonna be waiting long on that. Healthcare in the countries like the United Kingdom is based on need. Who needs it? Who needs the healthcare? Here in America, the healthcare is based on how much money you make. How much money you have. If you're wealthy, you get the best healthcare money can buy. If you're poor, you're gonna get horrible healthcare. You're not gonna get the same healthcare as that wealthy person is getting. And I guess in the minds of some people in America, when it comes to healthcare, if you pay for something, if you pay more for something, that actually makes it good. But that's not true. You got conservative politicians. They say that the healthcare in America is the best in the world, and I got something written down about that. If I can find it. Okay, this is from two Texas politicians. This is from the first one is from Louis Gohmert, and the second one is from Michael Burgess. Okay, Louis Gohmert says this: we have the best health care that could ever be found in any time in history, anywhere in the world. And Michael Burgess says, I'll say it, America has the best healthcare system in the world. And I'm going to read something about a woman. And people, a woman who's from America, who lives in the United Kingdom. And here's her story about the healthcare. Here's her healthcare stories between the healthcare in America, about the healthcare in America and the healthcare in the United Kingdom. An American woman is staying in the United Kingdom after studying abroad there, because the cost of her health care is too expensive for her to move back home. And this is what she's saying. I'm from the United States. I now live in the United Kingdom. I grew up living with type 1 diabetes. I pay quite a lot for my insulin and my supplies and all the things that I need. When I graduated from college, I was off my parents' insurance at the time. This was before the Affordable Care Act kicked in. I had to pay a lot of money to be added on to my dad's insurance. I was paying about $1,000 out of pocket every month. Eventually, I got accepted to a master's degree program in the United Kingdom. Just being a student here for 6 months allowed me to take advantage of the healthcare system. I was covered under the national healthcare system. I went to the pharmacy and I picked up my prescription that I didn't have to pay a huge amount for. And that was just reality. That was just really mind blowing to me. I don't think I'll ever forget that experience. I was just filled with gratitude and in a wow of the simplicity of it as well. In the UK, the whole population is covered by the National Health Service, the NHS, which is financed through general taxation and run by the Department of Health. Okay, this is from a doctor in the UK. Nobody pays a doctor's bill on the NHS. People will go their entire life without paying a single upfront cost. And this is from the woman. People who live in the United Kingdom, they pay their taxes, so they're supporting the healthcare system, but then they are supported themselves. You don't have to battle with insurance companies. You don't have to spend hours thinking about your coverage and where and how you're going to get your essential medicine. Okay, this is from another doctor in the UK. Okay, UK doctor. When patients come to us, we only evaluate them from the point of view of their need. The cost never comes into it. As a surgeon, I love that because it means the focus is on the care that I can deliver. Okay, this is from the American woman who lives in the United Kingdom. I'm lucky enough to be able to still live here in the UK, and I'm just always blown away by those costs. I've also been dealing with thyroid cancer this year, and I know that the cost to me back in the US would just be astronomical for the type 1 diabetes for my cancer treatment. Okay. It really just blows me away that people can say that America has the best healthcare system in the world. It's such a myth that's perpetrated. Having experienced the NHS here in the UK, it's not perfect, but I would take it any day over what we have in the US, which is complete inequality, complete unaffordability for so many people. If you're wealthy and can't afford it, you'll get it. And if not, you might die, and that's reality, and that's just really terrifying. And that is the truth. That is the truth. And Bernie Sanders wants to bring a healthcare system like the NHS, a universal healthcare system, to the US, but you got people in America who say that universal healthcare is socialism and it's bad and it's going to kill America, it's going to destroy America, and universal healthcare is straight out of Hitler's playbook, and the fastest way to die is to start seeing a doctor. Socialism, look at the roads that we drive on. That's socialism. The library, and the post office, the fire department. That's socialism right there. I mean, do you think a firefighter is going to go over how much you have to pay him for putting out the fire at your house? No, he's not going to do that. And I think healthcare should be the same way here in America. But Bernie Sanders is not going to get is not going to get the Democratic presidential nomination, and he's not. He's not going to get it, and he's not. And Joe Biden's going to get it, and Joe Biden's suffering from cognitive decline. He's saying a lot of crazy stuff like, the children rub my hairy legs, and my legs, the hair on my legs turn blonde, and the children and the cockroaches jump in my lap and put on the record player and hear what I'm saying and other people are saying, and a lot of crazy, weird, whacked out stuff, Bernie Sanders was screwed back in 2016 when he ran for president, and he's going to get screwed now. Why? Because the DNC is a group full of established corporate moderate politicians that want to keep the status quo and is beef for their donors and beef for big businesses and corporations than regular people. And a lot of people are endorsing Joe Biden and ignoring Bernie Sanders and Bernie Sanders is not going to win. It's sad, and you got people here in this country who say that they get great health insurance. And their children get great health insurance, but they don't have no clue how broken, dysfunctional, unfair, and cruel the healthcare system is, and they don't care, and they just turn a blind eye to it, and they're just so numb and lifeless about it, and a lot of them just accept the healthcare in America for what it is, and it's just sad, and I guess people like me who talk about this is crazy, and people are going to come at me with their religious beliefs. Save it, because I don't want to hear it. Save it, okay? Yeah. So, before I end this video, I'm going to read something. Before I end this video, I'm thinking about, moving to France, living overseas, because, as I lived here in America throughout the years, I saw a lot of shrinks, psychologists, and mental health professions when I was going to school. I mean, when I was a child, a teenager, and an adult, and I almost took some pills that they're gonna make me drowsy, give me side effects, make me drowsy, and fall asleep and make me not focus and sharp, and knowing what's going on. I'm just gonna be drowsy and fall asleep, and it's gonna do damage to my health, and these pills gonna quote unquote help me cope with my problems, and I'm been getting mad, been losing in the past because I'm around a lot of people who drive me to do those things, and there's a guy who I went to school with who is serving a 50-year prison sentence, who is suffering from mental illness. He's in prison, and I talked to some people who knew him. One person felt sorry for him, and the other person didn't care and say that, I never liked that guy. Laugh out loud. He's racist, and I think he hates white people. I'm like, school I went to, I was around a lot of racist white teachers who didn't like the fact that I hugged a white girl and came at me and gave me crap about it like it's a bad thing, and dress it up and hide it like it's sexual assault or something, like sexual harassment, which is freaking ridiculous, really. Yeah. So I just look at where I live at and the country I live in, and this country is just a sinking ship, And the coronavirus is going around, and it is.
you know, about time I decide to move overseas and live in France, you know, and remain a citizen in this country, the United States, and have dual citizenship with the U.S. and France, you know, and this will be really good, you know. This will be really good. I mean, with that French passport, like, I mean, I have to go through a lot of junk and go through a lot of junk at airports, like I do with the American passport, and I can just, like, you know, I have to go through a long line, just go through a place, and bam, I'm in the country, and voila, I'm in the country. Like, I can use this in Europe and other countries outside of the U.S., but, you know, if I come back to America and decide to come here on vacation, I just use my American passport to get into this country. So yeah, I mean, to all the unhappy, lonely, depressed misfits in America who are having a hard time finding that special somebody with a woman or any other person, or guys like Fidel Herensquet, who is obsessed with Ariana Grande because he's a fan. They need to just stop doing what they're doing. Grab a passport, grab a boarding pass, get on an airplane and fly overseas. You know, and just live a happy, sane, less toxic life overseas, you know. And they can eat healthy foods that don't have any chemicals or toxins or GMOs, and no high fructose corn syrup in the drinks, you know. And you know, they don't have to worry about gaining weight like they do by eating the foods here in America. So yeah, you know, all I gotta say is, I mean, this country is just far gone. It is, you know. Everybody's in their own little world. I mean, you know, it's funny that Ariana Grande want to tell people to watch the news. I mean, you know, and before that, people don't care and don't want to pay attention to what goes on in other countries. All they care about is lifestyle stories and silliness and nonsense and talk show topics, and find out on Facebook what Joe Blow is having a baby and Joe Blow is got DUIs and he's in prison and all this stuff. And you got people who are not into this stuff, who want to separate themselves from everybody and say that they hate people and want to live off the land as mountain men, and someone says that their husband is a repairman and all of this stuff, and chop wood, you know, an old man with a long gray beard chopping wood and living off the land, and being a repairman and all this stuff, you know. Yeah. So yeah, and I've been watching what's been going on overseas before the coronavirus outbreak has started. You know, and I'm yeah, and you know, and people in America are going crazy and being paranoid over this, and they are. And I'm not. I mean, I'm taking it seriously, but I'm being very calm about it, you know. And all I gotta say to myself, you know, I'm overseas all the way. That's all I gotta say in this video. Bye.